Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We're going to continue to dive into Proverbs, but before we do, because we're going to talk about wine and alcohol at the end of the chapter here, and I wanted to share with you my experience. And thankfully, I don't have a whole lot of experience with alcohol, but I want to share with you my first time. I was 21 years old and never sipped alcohol, never had, and thankfully I didn't put myself in environments where there was a lot of alcohol around. But I was proposing to my wife, Sarah, and at the time I was in college, senior, and I was valeting for Morton Steakhouse. It's a great steakhouse, great environment. But I got to know the manager there, the staff there, and so when they found out that I was coming and proposing to my wife, or just did propose to my wife. We were in downtown Minneapolis. We already did a horse-drawn carriage. It was so romantic. And we get there, and they're like, "Hey, anything for him, anything for." Actually, I went by Billy at the time, and and so we ordered, and the server came out and uh, gave like this like tasting and like did this poured red wine. And I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know what to do. And at that time, Sarah had never sipped any alcohol before ever. And the server like, poured it and kind of like, again, I was so like I didn't know anything. And I didn't want to because I knew that I never had and I knew that she never had. But then at the same time, I didn't want to be disrespectful. Like they were really trying to show like care and generosity to us. And it's a celebration. We just got just proposed. And so I just kind of looked at Sarah. I said, "Hey, let's just try a sip. Okay." For being, nice, and I don't know, obviously, I don't know what it was, but I took a sip of it and it literally felt like a burning sensation, like, going down my throat, and it felt like a cat was, like, clawing down my esophagus all the way down, and I was like, "Mm." I was like, "That's terrible." So I don't know what it was, but that honestly is my experience, and then we, got some cappuccino after that sip. But that's my experience with alcohol, and thankfully, that is my only experience with alcohol. But I understand that for a lot of people, that's not their experience. And when the Bible even says that, to avoid it, as far as drunkenness, and I'll just say this, the Bible never says that wine is a sin. It's the indulgence of the wine. And we'll get into that right now. But I understand that alcohol can be a severe problem. It can lead down the path. And so thankfully, I've just chosen to avoid it at all costs. And so I've not been tempted to go down that road. And I'm so thankful for that. But again, I understand that that's not everyone's experience. Well, let's dive into Proverbs chapter 23, starting in verse 31. It says this: "Don't gaze at the wine, seeing how red it is, how it sparkles in the cup, how smoothly it goes down." I'm like, it didn't go down smooth for me. But anyways, maybe some do. I don't know. Um, but it says, "Don't do that." Verse 32, "For in the end it bites like a poisonous snake, it stings like a viper. You will see hallucinations and you will say crazy things." Again, I'm thankful that I've never experienced that. I've never been drunk. But I've seen other people, and maybe you've experienced that for yourself, or see the dangers of it with other people. And continues on, verse 34. "You will stagger like a sailor tossed back in the sea, clinging to a swaying mast. And you will say, 'They hit me, but I didn't feel it. I didn't even know it when they beat me up. When will I wake up so I can take another drink?'" This whole idea of really anything of a substance that you are longing for that's going to alter your brain, that you are going to make decisions uh, that you don't have full control. The Bible is saying, don't do that. Be careful. Be very careful because it's going to put you in a situation where you will more than likely make poor choices. We've been talking about being wise and being obedient and rather, listen and obey rather than make sacrifices. I I do understand for other people the draw for alcohol, and maybe you've been part of a family where again you've seen the destruction though of it. And so I don't know what you need to do. I don't know for you personally the conviction. I'm not expecting you to have the same convictions that I have where I completely avoid it at all cost. I know with my position and being an Assemblies of God ordained pastor, I choose to do that. Um, but at the end of the day, I understand the destruction of just opening that door. And if you don't have self control, you can easily go down the road of altering the state of your mind. And so I just want to encourage you. I know how difficult that may be. And I know that some people are like, well, alcohol is not a sin. That's true. It's not a sin, but it can lead to sinful desires and leading into that. And so I don't know what you need to do, but I want to just encourage you. Maybe you just need to pray for more self-control. Maybe you need to just avoid it at all cost, or maybe avoid certain types of people that will draw you and to get you to do things that you know that you shouldn't do. And so I just want to encourage you. Again, this is between you and God. Like go to the Lord and say, God, is there anything that I need to do differently when it comes to alcohol, when it comes to indulging in items, even gluttony, that I know that is not healthy for me? Go to the Lord today and say, God, would you help me in this situation? And thankfully, God is the God who gives us exactly what we need. And my prayer is that as He does, we would do something about it. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.